What is up, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I think the top 7 most slept on cards in Artifact will be. By slept on, I mean that these will be the top 7 cards underpriced for where I think they will be in the future, and thus it might be a good idea to pick up some extra copies so that you can turn a profit later. Now, some of you may be thinking to yourselves, what does this guy know about Artifact's economy that we don't? And I think that's a fair question. So I used to spend a good amount of my time predicting the economy of Magic the Gathering. I did mention in my previous video that it's almost impossible to predict prices in Artifact simply because of the power level does not equal rarity system that Valve has employed here. However, I did also mention in my previous video that I think the market will be heavily shaped by the word of closed beta testers and the initial reaction that the community has to cards being revealed. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Reddit, but I'm saying that maybe you should reconsider. The first card I have on this list is Caught Unprepared, and please hear me out before closing out the video. Caught Unprepared wasn't featured basically at all in the BTS Artifact tournament, and I blame that almost entirely on the fact that Caught Unprepared is super underwhelming and limited. Everybody has access to short swords and traveler's cloaks, and that makes the stun pretty ineffective. However, in Constructed, I think this will be a different story. Not only is the general item price going to be a little bit higher in Constructed, but also the power level of Constructed is just a little bit greater than Limited, thus making a single round of stun mean a lot more. At the worst, Caught Unprepared passes initiative back over to you either in a different lane or maybe in the same lane, but regardless, I think that there's a lot of strategy that can go into Caught Unprepared that makes it a card worth looking out for. The second card on our list is Corrosive Mist. Corrosive Mist's ability is pretty powerful on paper, essentially acting as an annihilation for all equipped items. However, Corrosive Mist's potency is really based on the fact that not only does your opponent have to care about items, but they need to care about items more than you do. Corrosive Mist makes my list for 2 reasons. First, it could be a one-of if the constructive metagame starts to favor econ decks, but also you can bet that people will be running 2 copies of Corrosive Mist in their sideboard if that's something Valve decides to add to Artifact. Again, this is a card that I probably won't be investing in initially, but you can bet if there's an announcement about sideboards, I'll probably be picking up about 10 copies. The third card on this list is the Oath, and it's certainly an interesting one. The Oath is one of the most widely debated cards in Artifact, and not because of its upside. 3 mana and being able to cast it from any lane and giving all allies +4 attack is undeniably powerful, but the debate really stems from the downside. See, the Oath reads that once put down, you're not able to cast any spells or creeps from that lane, and you don't get the upsides of it unless there's an allied black hero in the lane. This is a pretty steep price to pay for something that powerful, and I think what makes it so interesting from a market perspective. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be trash? There hasn't really been a consensus within closed beta, or at least we haven't seen any super successful decks run the Oath. In general, I think that this card will be cheap enough in the beginning that I'm willing to pick up some extra copies in the hopes that it eventually becomes broken. The fourth card on this list is Vesture of the Tyrant. Now, if you guys saw my last video, you saw that I included it in the top 10 most expensive cards upon release list, and I don't think this video is a contradiction to that. Rather, I'm trying to say that Vesture of the Tyrant will be priced under where it will be at in the future because I think the card is extremely powerful, but not picking up a ton of hype. +3 armor to the tower and rapid deployment makes your tower pretty resistant to damage, and so far I don't see a lot of people talking about that. In general, I don't think this is a card I will be investing a lot in, but again, a card I'm looking forward to seeing where it moves in the market. The fifth card I have on this list is Enough Magic. Now, many community members have speculated on the power level of Enough Magic, but I haven't seen closed beta testers include it in their constructed decks within the closed beta. This is really surprising to me since powerful cards like Annihilation and Time of Triumph that sort of let you change the pace of the game are just noped on by Enough Magic. You've been setting up your Time of Triumph for 3 turns? No. I do think that the problem with this card is the skill level that it involves, since you need to make sure that you have initiative on the lane where your opponent has been setting up things, and you need to also be able to read that your opponent is setting up for things like Time of Triumph or Annihilation. However, I think that as the skill level of the average player increases, the ability to use this card correctly will also increase, and thus I think it will be a higher used card than it is currently. Of course, the jury is out on this, but I'm willing to speculate. The last 2 cards I have on this list I'm going to sort of combine because I think they're slept on for similar reasons. These 2 cards being Lycan and Abaddon. Now, it's agreed upon that each color has about 2 to 3 top-tier heroes. Red has Axe and Legion Commander, black has Lich and Phantom Assassin, Blue has Kana and ya boy Jamoy. I'm just kidding. It's Zeus, not ya boy. But green, from the community's perspective, seems to only have Drow Ranger. Now, I agree that Drow is extremely powerful. I mentioned that I think she'll be one of the top 10 most expensive cards upon release, and I admit that I'm pretty biased toward Drow because I like Drizdo Erden so much, but people were speculating what Drow might do when we had cards like Lycan and Abaddon already revealed to us. With Lycan, I find this especially surprising. His passive ability is really strong. He allows your melee creeps to trade into 2 of your opponent's melee creeps before dying. He pushes a bunch of tower damage. He's better statted than Drow. And he's accompanied by Savage Wolf, one of the scariest creeps in the game. With Abaddon, this is a lesser thing for me. I think that Abaddon is less exciting than Drow and Lycan. But I believe that his signature spell, the Aphotic Shield, is going to be really strong in a format where Time of Triumph is one of the best cards in the game. In fact, I think it's the only way we can just get rid of modifications unless we sort of counter modify, like with Viscous Nasal Glue or something like that, -2 armor after they've been given +2 armor or something. Anyway, my point is that I think that these 2 heroes are really slept on in green because Drow is just so hyped up by the community. And so I expect to see them pick up in value as time goes on. In general, I probably won't be investing in a bunch of extra copies of them, but I won't be upset to see a few extra in my inventory. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful at all. I think the idea of a game's economy sort of being within our economy and shaped by our economy is really fascinating to me. Like I said, I did this a lot with Magic the Gathering, but never really had the guts to actually put my ideology into practice. And I sometimes got punished for it. I would buy like 4 cards that were 75 cents each, and then they would shoot up to $25 or something. And I don't think anything drastic like that is going to happen in Artifact, which is partially why I'm so excited to actually try this out for once. I think that Artifact presents sort of a low risk, low reward sort of scenario where we can net gain if we invest a medium amount, but it won't be crazy or anything. It will just be sort of cool to see. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys are going to try this out at all, if you think there are different cards that are sleeper, if you think I got something wrong. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.